Welcome everyone to Merkaba Energy Healing. So in today's pick a card reading, we are asking our spirit guides, what is calling you now? We have 3 piles with 3 crystals. Pile number 1 with message number 1, we have the chrome chalcedony. Pile number 2 with message number 2, we have this wild horse magnesite. The wild horse magnesite. And pile number 3 with message number 3, we have the pink peachy scolecite. A pink scolecite. So please go to the description box below to find the timestamp for your reading, and I will see you over there. Welcome group number 1. Today I was guided to ask Spirit, what is calling you now? I don't exactly know what that means, although I have an idea. There might be something pulling you in a particular direction or guiding you in a certain way that might be a bit subtle. And yes, I got a yes on the idea of this being subtle. And the purpose of this reading is to bring to your awareness that which is subtly calling to you now. Okay? So, calling on my highest and best spirit guides, guided only by the one, please show me that which is accurate, kind, and clear for group number 1 here. What is calling to group number 1? What is calling to them now? So they're showing me the 3 of Pentacles, and the chrome chalcedony actually is a stone about working well with others. So you may be called now to work with other people. You might have been on your own for a long time, and now, I'm hearing the word collaborate. You might be called to collaborate. They're actually showing me the Page of Swords. Somebody might actually reach out to you to collaborate with them on something. They're also showing me the idea of spreading your net out wider in terms of what you do, to include other modalities, to include other insights that would complement your perspective or what you do. Working with somebody who can add value to what you're already working on. I'm hearing you don't need to be the jack of all trades. You don't have to do everything yourself. Allow yourself to be expert in what you do and to work with another person who's expert in what they do. Okay? They're tuning me into the aspect of the chrome chalcedony that speaks to compassion and forgiveness. So which way is it? Both ways. Okay. So they're showing me that you might be called to ask someone for forgiveness or to extend compassion to someone who might have not shown that to you. I'm not talking about any extreme cases where you're being a martyr in some way. That's not what I'm referring to. It's where somebody might have lost their way or spoken out of turn, and you know in your heart that they didn't mean to. Same goes for your perspective of yourself, to show yourself more kindness and give yourself more grace, I'm hearing. If you felt that you wronged someone or said something out of turn, to give yourself a little bit of grace and ask for forgiveness. But someone might be extending an olive branch to you. And they're showing me the 6 of Cups there in the sense of someone from the past coming back. And it doesn't have to be somebody that you were in a relationship with. It could be just someone from your friend group or your family group. Okay? Anything else that you want to say, my guides, about what is calling Okay, so they're also saying with the Six of Cups, there might have been something that you loved doing when you were younger. It doesn't have to be when you were 6. It can just be, I don't know why the number 6 keeps showing up here, but it could be something when you were younger in your 20s, if you guys are in your 30s, 40s, and beyond. It can just be at an earlier stage in your life where you really had a passion about something, but it was laid to the wayside to do something more practical. So they're saying that some old, they're calling it your destiny because they're showing me the Wheel of Fortune here. Well, they said destiny and then showed the Wheel of Fortune to me to confirm that I heard them correctly. There might have been something once upon a time that you thought, that's my calling. But you might have thought it to be a pipe dream or something that you couldn't bring into reality because it was too fringe or too off the beaten path. And I do feel as though you're being called in that direction. They're showing me you with a lawnmower. Like there's no path there. You've got to sort of pave your own path. That's how they're showing it to me, which I love because I'm big on trailblazing. And I'm big on just sort of mowing your own, path, as it were. Yeah. They're showing me the cricket card from this deck. I don't know. I haven't seen any of these cards, but these are all familiars, different animals that are considered a witch's familiar or just a person's familiar. I mean, we could use that term a little bit more conversationally. And they're showing me a cricket in grass, and that's where they live. There's moisture and there's protection there, and it's almost like that's their home. That's where they belong, and that's where they sing their songs. And so there's something about you being where you belong and coming out of hiding, feeling at home somewhere, singing your song, letting yourself be heard by the world, and feeling safe without needing to hide. Okay, so let's see what animal, what familiar shows up for you today, and maybe just pause the video and ask your highest and best spirit guides what familiar, what magical familiar wants to speak to you today. Maybe it's the animal on your card, on this card, or something close to it. It's a nice way to play with your intuition. Okay, let's turn over the card. Oh, lovely. We have friendship, gerbil, and pumpkin. What a sweet card. So interesting that they said something about forgiveness and possibly a friend coming back for forgiveness. And look how beautiful this matches. I swear I did not see these cards. And look how beautiful. I love when that happens. So gerbils are very friendly and very sweet. And I do feel like there is a call to be kinder to yourself, to be your own best friend, they're showing me with this little pumpkin and the big pumpkin, there might be a call to be kind to your inner child and also to listen to him or her. Interestingly, with the Six of Cups that they showed to me before, there is this element of your inner child really showing up in the reading today. And she or he or they might be calling to you and asking to be acknowledged in some way, to listen to their desires, to their dreams, to recollect that experience of being in your imagination. Because I'm really seeing imagination. I just watched this video the other day where this boy was singing, I think it's called Rainbow Connection. My older sister used to sing that to me, and it always just made me feel really calm and peaceful. And they're just bringing that to me, this song, The Rainbow Connection, something very innocent. What connects you to your inner child? What connects you to magic in the world? What connects you to other people? And the answer might lie in an earlier version of yourself that was less disillusioned by the world. If you were to ask your younger self, what makes you feel beautifully connected to yourself and to the world, what would they say? And I would pause and I would ask that younger version of yourself, because I think that they have an answer that needs to be heard. I'm also hearing mama bear or papa bear with this big pumpkin and the little pumpkin. Again, with the cricket in the grass and that experience of protection, that message might go two ways. So there might be something about needing to protect yourself now, because there is a sense of naivete that can come with the Six of Cups and with this little gerbil here, to be aware of the company that you keep. I do find that sometimes people yell at me in the comments that I should never say anything that is a warning. But all I can say is that, first of all, I deliver the messages, and I deliver messages that are supposed to support you and help you, not to incite any fear. And you would know if that resonates for you. If it doesn't, it's just not your message, okay? So there is something about protecting your energy and being very discerning about who you share your time with and your energy with, okay? They're also saying that you don't have to say yes to everybody, okay? So if you have a service of some sort, you can turn people down. And they're saying, do your best not to be afraid to say no. Okay, you might be called now to say no to something, and to be aware simultaneously of any fear or need to hide from the idea of saying no. I hope that made sense. Okay. Okay, they're also showing me that pumpkins, they're not grass that grows within 5 days, and they're not an oak tree that takes eons to grow up into the sky. It's somewhere in the middle. So they're saying that what's calling to you now is a certain degree of patience, but not as much patience as you might think. It's not a snail and it's not a roadrunner. Okay, whatever you're working on, it's somewhere in between. They are showing me the Knight of Pentacles, which is a slower moving energy, but it's still a knight. It still moves. So they're asking you to be a little bit more patient with whatever you're working on or whatever you're doing. They are showing me Aries, and Aries, I'm an Aries, so I own this. We can leap before we look. Sometimes, not always, okay? I'm not big on generalizing one sun sign to their whole personality, but it is an element. Because we tend to be very excited, and we do have that, excited, innocent energy, because we are the spring babies. So there is something about you being called to just take stock of something, consider your options, consider what you should do next before you actually take action. So there's a call to be patient with something and to consider what you should do next or what you should say before doing or saying in response to the thing, whatever it may be for everyone here. Okay, the last message with this card is the idea of pumpkins growing in the fall. And they're saying that you might need to... Oh, I was taking that in a different direction than what my guides are telling me now. Let me just listen. My guides, give me this message, please, clearly. Okay. They're actually saying that they were guiding me to the season of fall to give me the word fall. That things might be falling away from your life. And so the next sprouting season, the next sort of time that things are going to bloom is going to come after something falls away from your life or something is released from your life. And that could be, at least for the Northern Hemisphere now, where the summertime ends and fall is your time of sprouting, so to speak. Meaning there's a season that's going to be a season of things releasing or falling away. And then the following season of your life, not literal seasons, but they're using that metaphorically, will be the time of bloom. So again, there's this idea of you're being called to be patient with the process, that you can't skip a step to get to where you want to go. I hope that makes sense. And I'm sorry, there's another message just with the idea of friendship, not just with forgiveness. There is this idea of you opening to a season. Again, they're using that word of friendship, and friends might be calling to you now. And they're not just saying new friends. This is old friends that might be coming back, not just for forgiveness, but to rekindle the friendship and to be open to connecting with people again. They actually said that with the Chrome Chalcedony before I opened this card, right? They talked about this idea of being called now to connection with people or reconnection. So that's actually beautiful. That's exactly right. I love that. Okay. So that is it for the significator card. Let's see what the tarot has to say. Okay, so my cat cut me very badly on my thumb, but she didn't mean to. She was just pulling a squeezy treat back when I was giving it to my other cat, and she scratched my thumb very badly. So it hurts a little bit to shuffle. Ooh, so just bear with me, you guys. So we're just going to get a couple of messages from the tarot. My highest and best spirit guides. What else do you want my group number ones to know about what is calling them now? What is calling to them now? Show us very clearly, please. What is calling my group number ones? Show me the card clearly, please. Okay. And we have, ooh, the Nine of Pentacles. I love that. So I think it's just very interesting before I go on that this particular Nine of Pentacles, this person is standing on a path where there's overgrown brush on the side, on either side of her. And they talked about you paving your own way. You're being called to pave your own way, to go out, on a limb here, and do your own thing. And so they're just adding this idea that if you were to do that, you would feel very happy and you would feel very empowered. And this might be very lucrative to boot. Okay. They're also highlighting the idea that the Nine of Pentacles follows the Eight of Pentacles, obviously. But they're saying that when you do what you love, which is often when you pave your own road, because it has your signature all over it, right? It doesn't require as much work. It's like that paid to exist type of idea. Although there is work in the sense of you're going to be doing something, there is action there. But it is this idea of doing what you love and there just being a state of flow. So what is calling to you now is paving your own way, feeling a sense of self-empowerment, listening to your own unique value and your own unique way of doing things, and feeling, is beauteous a word? They just gave me that. That's a strange word. Just feeling bountiful and beauteous in your own unique way of doing things. Really valuing, they're showing me your stamp on things, your fingerprint, how you go about doing what only you can do. And that this is going to make you feel really good about yourself. The more you go in the direction that aligns with your authentic spirit, you're going to feel more self-confident and you're going to feel more empowered. Anything else here? No. Okay. What else do you want to tell them in terms of what is calling to them now? What is calling to my group number twos? Can we get another card here, please? Can we get another card here, please? One more card, please. Whoop, that just flew out. Wow. King of Cups. What do you want them to know? So they're highlighting the fact that this King of Cups is flying. And so there is this idea of taking off after you have paved your own path, okay? They're also highlighting that this is a King of Cups, and both of those matter in this reading, that you are sort of the authority of what you hold dear. You are the authority over what you desire most, what you love the most, what comes from your heart most. And there's a combination that you're being called to now in your life, where you're combining both your expertise, your authority, your, what you're very good at with what you love, what you hold dear, what you hold in high regard, where you embody this loving energy, this nurturing energy, both towards yourself, again, that inner child coming up, and then extending out to others. So there's very much a call for you to be in alignment, both with your self-empowerment, with your knowledge, I'm hearing, with what you know to be correct or true in your path, your authenticity, and what you're expert in. And that combined with your heart, with, I'm also hearing your values. So doing things in alignment with your values. This is what you're being called to now, my dear group number ones. Bottom of the deck, 7 of Cups. It's interesting. It feels as though you're being called to precision, I'm hearing, to precision. And the fact that it's not the Queen of Cups on the bottom, but the 7 of Cups can tell me that you're being guided away from the idea that there are millions of roads that you can choose from, and you're just kind of like a deer in headlights, they're saying this is not actually the case. This is a narrative you've been telling yourself. And they want you to get out of the narrative that you're confused by the choices or that you don't know where to go or what to do. Give yourself permission to, they're showing me claircognizance, to know deeply without knowing in the mind, to just say to yourself or affirm to yourself, I know exactly what is right for me. That's the 9 of Pentacles. I know exactly what is right for me. And it begins with something that resides in my heart. The only reason I might feel confused is because I lack self-doubt. So something that group number 1 you're being strongly called to is self-confidence. To overcome self-doubt. To literally transcend here with the King of Cups any watery energy that is muddying your field, right? 7 of Cups here, Piscean energy. With all due respect to Pisces, we're just talking about the part of Pisces that could drown out the higher intuition that Pisces often comes with in its exalted state. Okay, so you're definitely being called to have more precision about what you want and not make excuses about it. Allow yourself to want what you want and go after it, both from a place of expertise and from your heart and from your authenticity. Okay? So that is your reading, group number 1. Let me know if it resonated. Give the video a thumbs up if it did. And I thank you so much for being here. Until the next reading, much love and many, many blessings. Welcome, group number 2. Today we are asking Spirit, what is calling you now? What is calling to you? What energies, what people, what experiences, what places, what is calling you now? What energies are calling you now? There's something happening in the collective right now where more of what your soul wants and desires is coming up to the surface to be really acknowledged. And that comes after the purge that we've been experiencing. So all of those emotions that went unacknowledged or unexpressed, those have been purging in recent months, and they are making space for our soul to be heard now. And so there's something that is calling you now that needs to be acknowledged. Sorry, I'm clearing a little bit here. I didn't clear in the last group. Sorry, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, that was interesting. We'll see if that comes up in the reading. Yeah, there's a lot of clearing for you guys. Okay, one second. Okay, so they're saying that actually what I just channeled is very important for you guys because you might have just a little bit more of that overt purging to do, and I'm just helping you guys with that a little bit. Excuse me? Wow, that's a lot. Okay. They're telling me you guys are about to take off. Okay, with a wild horse magnesite here, there's something about really taking off after a period of 4 of Swords, right? Rest, recovery. Okay, magnesite. This is mostly made up of magnesium, which is a mineral that relaxes the body. So the wild horse and magnesium seem almost paradoxical in one stone, but they're actually saying that it's exactly precise for this group, that you were meant to have more of a rest and recovery phase before your wild horse phase, right? And we are in the year of the horse. If you're listening to this in 2026, if you're not, that energy from this stone might speak to you now. But that's what they're showing for this group, that you're being called out of that place of rest and recovery and into some kind of movement. Okay, because they're showing me the Chariot card here. Okay, so this might actually be a literal move somewhere. We'll see what the Tarot has to say in a moment, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. Anything else? Okay, not right now with the magnesite. Okay. Now, this is a deck of familiars, right? Of magical familiars. And so they're all animals. So I played this game with group number 1. If you want to pause and ask your highest guides, highest and best spirit guides, or the animal kingdom, what animal wants to show up for you today, see if you can get an image in your head before I turn over the card, and we'll see if it's similar. Sometimes it may not be similar, but they may be complementary animals, or animals that work together in some symbiotic way. Okay, I have not seen these cards, so before I do that, I call on my highest and best spirit guides, guided only by the One. What else does my group number 2 need to know about what's calling them now? Okay, the word destiny is coming up for you as well. That briefly came up in group number 1, I'll just mention, but I do feel as though you guys are really being called to your destiny here, because they highlighted again that idea of your soul speaking through you now and wanting you to take off. Okay, so Wheel of Fortune, destiny, High Priestess might even come up. Okay, something like this. I do feel as though there's a bit of tug of war with 2 aspects of your life right now. You might be called in a direction that you don't feel ready for. And they're saying, they're using the word perfection. You might be trying to perfect something to the nth degree, and they just want you to start now. Just start now. You might be sitting on some $1 million idea or something you've been working on for eons, and it's time for that to take off, for that to be released into the ether, as it were. Okay, so you're being called to release, I'm hearing your artistry, your work. Okay, artistry, some kind of creativity. They're showing me the 5th house there. So it's something creative, some creative pursuit. Okay. Interesting that I use the word pursuit there, because I literally see wild horses taking off as though they're pursuing something. But if you look at wild horses, they're not actually, horses, they're generally not running after anything. They're just running for the sake of freedom, to feel the feeling of freedom. And so I have this sense that beautiful group number 2, you're being called to just experience life, not always for the goal, but just to be in it fully, to feel the rhythm of freedom in your life, that you have the freedom to do whatever it is that you want to do, and not always be running towards something, but just run for the sake of running. Just feel that freedom of being ever present. I could do whatever I want to do right now. Right now, I can get up and do a little dance. Right now, I can call my friend. Right now, I can tell that guy that I have a crush on him. Right now, I can literally go for a run. Just for the sake of running. Not to log some amount of steps or something, but just to do things just because it feels good in the moment. Just because you're free. And to have that experience of freedom, that rush that comes with running in an open field. So you're being called to freedom now, literally. And so that 4 of Swords might have been a rest and recovery from something that came before that rest and recovery. Something that was shackling you, something that was keeping you down, something that was quieting you. That might be your story. and you're entering into this field of consciousness that requires you to run free. Okay. My highest and best spirit guides, let's open up their significator card and please guide me to what is calling my group number 2s now. Oh, that's very interesting, you guys. You have peace, dove, and hemp. Very interesting that the word peace is here when they were just highlighting rest and recovery with the Four of Swords, which often is a card denoting peace. So maybe some of you are still in the phase of feeling quieted, feeling shackled, and you haven't quite entered or fully progressed through the stage of rest and recovery. So maybe this is just a blueprint for you that after the rest and recovery, you're being called to your artistry, you're being called to experience that freedom that was your birthright, I'm hearing. They're highlighting how this dove is being held by this lotus flower. So some of you might be called now to allow other people or experiences to hold you. A lot of people say, they use the words holding space. And people, often my patients will say, what does that really mean, hold? How do you hold space? Well, it's a good question. And I won't take up the whole reading answering that. But it feels as though when you allow someone else to hold space for you, it means that you're not always thinking, what do I need to do for them? It is more when you're in the receiving mode, where you're being held, okay, the person who's holding space for you is leaning into you without, meaning creating energetic space within which you can be free to be whatever it is that you need to be without judging you, criticizing you, giving unsolicited feedback, but really listening, taking stock, not leaning in the sense of motion, but leaning in as in listening, paying attention to the subtle signs that you're giving them about what it is that you need. And they don't shirk from what you're asking. They lean in further. So let's say you've had people in the past who said, you're too loud, you're too sensitive. This person will create the space for you to experience all of those feelings, all of those thoughts, all of those emotions without telling you to be any different. So you're being called somewhat into your divine feminine now, which is the more receiving, yielding aspect of you. Less doing, less thinking, and more being, which is a powerful position to be in. But it also requires an element, and it also requires an element of vulnerability. I've always told the people that I work with, vulnerability is strength. Capital V, when you're choosing it, when you're allowing it. What I'm here to illuminate to you is that you have the right to be held. Let me just say that again. You have the right to be held, to have a soft landing place. So you're being called now to ask yourself, who, what, where, how may I experience peace, being held? Is there a person I trust? Is there an experience, a place I want to be that feels like a cushion to me now? And can I give myself permission to be held like this? Okay, they're giving me a very interesting message now. They're saying that if you're one of those people in that first stage that they demonstrated being quieted, being shackled, feeling suffocated in some way, that prompted you to go into a state of rest and recovery. Okay. When you're in that state, feeling like you can't breathe, feeling like you're shackled, and all of that, you're in a state of survivalism, fight or flight. And when you're in a state of survivalism, you cannot think clearly. You cannot behave in a way that is effective. You can't think in a way that is effective. And your intuition shuts down. One thing that is not taught, I think, enough, I'm sure many wonderful teachers out there teach, but I don't know all of them. Okay, so all due respect to those who have taught this. But your nervous system is so intertwined with your capacity to intuit what is good for you, what is right for you, what is correct for your path. And I say in quotations there because I don't know if there's any one correct way, but correct, I mean in alignment. Why am I bringing this up? Because with the lotus flower, Rudolf Steiner talked about how each of the chakras have a certain amount of lotus petals when they open. And when they're open, those petals have a certain amount of petals. And they're highlighting the petals of the third eye with this sort of purplish, or the crown, I should say, with this purplish, bluish lotus flower here. And so they're saying that you're being called now into this rest and recovery phase, and to look forward to that stage of freedom, because it won't just be physical freedom, but it will be connection with your higher self. That what will happen after this peace, maybe you're being called now into that state of peace, rest, and recovery now, because that is going to be a phase where the lotus petals of your third eye and your crown are going to gently begin to reopen after being really tight. And again, with the magnesite here, the energy of the magnesite is going to help start to release the tension that you held in your body for so long, being in a survival mode for way too long. They're giving me something else that they want me to tell you guys. Anyway, so basically what they're showing me is that as you move out of this phase of rest and recovery, your muscles, your fascia are going to start to release. And the petals of the lotus flowers of each of your chakras, of all of them, but they're highlighting the third eye and the crown, are going to start to relax and naturally open. So you're being called to pay more attention to your intuitive nudges, because you're going to they're going to start to speak to you more now, and in a way that you can hear, whereas before it's almost like trying to hear a pin drop in like a cacophonous environment where they're showing me like two cymbals banging together. You're just hearing so much noise, you can't hear that pin drop, right? Which is a metaphor for your subtle senses. So they're saying that your body, your mind, your spirit, your chakra system, your subtle bodies, okay, are starting to relax, starting to open. Okay. What they were showing me before is that some of you know that I was taking care of a little cat outside for the last year who was abandoned by her human. She's 12 years old. She looks like a kitten. She's a mini cat. Anyway, I did take her in about 7 weeks ago now. And they were showing her to me because she was so tight in her body for so long that even when she would eat, often she would throw up because her digestion was so tight. At least this is what my guides were showing me. And she just wasn't putting on any weight because her body was metabolizing the food so quickly. Because I think some of you know, anyone who's had a panic attack, sometimes you have a bowel movement very quickly after, or it's hard sometimes to put on weight when you're constantly anxious because your digestive system is just eating the food so quickly, or it's not able to assimilate the nutrients. It just leaves your body very quickly. So she's been here for 7 weeks, and I'm happy to say that she's fluffed out and she's gained some weight. And she's sleeping 12 hours a day, finally in her rest and recovery phase. Oh my God, I'm going to cry, you guys. She's been in her Four of Swords for the last 7 weeks. Okay. And her body really needed to rest, and her muscles really needed to relax. But last week, my guides guided me to start massaging her to help those muscles and that fascia and all of that survival energy release from her body faster. And then after I gave her a massage, I gave her a little healing session. So anyway, for anyone who wanted to hear that story, there it is. But let's move on. So beautiful group number 2. Very clear message for you guys. We're just going to get a couple of tarot cards here for you. So my highest and best spirit guides, thank you so much for those beautiful messages for my group number 2. Anything else that you want to share with them about what is calling to them now? What is calling to them now? Okay, I see. Oh my goodness. We have the Ace of Cups, you guys. This is really divine intervention on your part. I don't know what you guys have been through, but it really feels as though, you know, the one is going to show up for you itself to fill your cup, to make you feel nourished. And you're being called to receive it. You're being called to notice it. You're being called to open to it, and you're being called to receive it. And this can show up by a person, a magical experience, a synchronistic experience, a sign, a loved one showing up in your dream. My passed on sister showed up in my dream last night, and that feels like the Ace of Cups because I've been missing her terribly, and she just showed up. And I felt like divine itself like sent her into my dreams. Some of you have said that you have passed on loved ones and they never show up. Just don't give up. Because it's been a while since I've seen her. And she just showed up. So, yeah. This might show up as an experience. It might show up as they just said a windfall. Like you might have been dealing with financial difficulties, and out of nowhere, somebody extends, an extra tip to you or sends you a donation or something like this out of the blue. You will magnetize that energy towards you. If you say, I'm gently opening to the universe to provide magic and abundance to my heart, to my material wealth, whatever it is, I wouldn't define it. I would just let the universe sort of send it to you. Once you just gently open like this, which naturally happens in that rest and recovery phase, allow it to just flow to you. Oh, and my, is it going to flow? And we have another dove here, albeit a steampunk version in this deck, but a dove no less. So 2 doves, I mean, come on. That's literally the divine coming in. And what else is calling to my group number 2s now? What else is calling to my group number 2s? Show me the card clearly, please. Yeah? Why is it peeking out with my bum thumb here? It's so hard to pull the card out. Okay, and what do we have for you guys? I love it. The Emperor. Wow. So we literally have, you being fulfilled and then you feeling back in your power in that order. So feeling disempowered, like something was taken from you, your voice, your energy, literally they're showing me your chi or your ki, and then needing to extract yourself from that experience into that phase of rest and recovery. And in that rest and recovery, you regain your chi, your ki, your power, and then you take off running as the emperor that you are. So you're calling back your power. You guys are literally being called, but not just back into your power, but you are calling your power back to you. That's part of the recovery phase. That's part of the peace. Again, it's not, they're showing me like throwing a fishing rod out. No, you're not doing that. You're just opening and you're commanding that your energy be returned to you. across all time and space. Because you guys chose the wild horse magnesite. I do have a sense of prior lifetimes where your freedom was robbed of you. And early in your life, or your south node energy, it might have been south node in, it could be anywhere, but it could have been your first or your second house, because they highlighted sort of identity and also finances in some way, and values, like your very values being robbed of you. But anyway, it does feel as though previous lives, there might have been experiences therein, right, where you felt that your freedom was robbed in some kind of way. And this era of your life is about reclaiming that in all of your power, right? Anything else there? Okay. Yeah. And bottom of the deck is 9 of Swords. So this is what you're leaving behind. That is what you're leaving behind. No more overthinking, no more analyzing, just being. Right? That's the Emperor. The Emperor literally leans back on his throne. Bring that to me. Let me give this to you. He delegates, okay? And he tells everybody what's up. He doesn't need to, this guy's in a wheelchair, but he doesn't need to get off his throne, or metaphorically, he doesn't need to go anywhere or do anything, because he's the one in power of his own life. So I think that's the end of your reading. Yes, my guys are giving me a thumbs up. Okay, guys, let me know if that resonated. I so appreciate you being here with me. But if nothing else, I send you guys so much love and so many blessings. Until the next reading, take very good care. Welcome, group number 3. Today we are asking Spirit, what is calling to you now? What is calling to you now? So as I said in the previous groups, there appears to be a call from the soul and our higher guidance to come more into our missions now, to wake up essentially. And this call is becoming clearer now that the purge cycle is closing out. If you would like, you can take a moment to meditate on this card. These cards are cards of familiars, so they're all animals. And if you want to do this intuitive exercise, you can just ask your guides what animal has a message for you today, and see if it's the one under this card or one that resembles the animal or complements it in some way. It's just a nice idea I had. So you chose the scolecite. I love this stone. And this is message number 3. Okay, calling on my highest and best spirit guides, guided only by the One. Please guide me in what group number 3 needs to know. What do they need to know about what is calling to them now? Okay, so they're first highlighting that this stone is a stone of ancient wisdom and knowledge. So what is calling to you now is what you learned, what you, knowledge that you accrued in previous lifetimes. You're recollecting that, you're remembering that now. You're being called to anyway. But they're showing me that something is muddying your field a little bit now. They're showing me the 3 of Swords. There can be some kind of trickery or something, some lower vibratory energy that's trying to get you to get distracted. So just be mindful of that. Keep reclaiming your sovereignty and reorient your attention to your path, I would say. What they're also saying is that if you need help right now, it could be good to call on people who can give you clarity if you feel like you don't know what to do or where to go. So you might need to call on wise people to help you. Scolecite is very much a stone of love. It has a very peaceful, loving energy. And it feels as though what you're being called now is to open up your heart and bring in this peaceful, calming energy. Presumably for some of you, after you experience some kind of heartache or challenge, that really brought your vibration down, because they're really highlighting the softening of the heart and the need for other people to possibly come in and aid you in some way. Okay? So let's turn over your significator card. My highest and best spirit guides, please show me what group number 3 is being called to now. Okay, so you have the owl, number 44. I can see already that that's going to resonate with a lot of you. And they were talking about ancient knowledge and ancient wisdom, so that actually goes perfectly. And it's accompanied by juniper, which was an herb to unlock ancient knowledge, or knowledge, I should say. What do you want them to know in terms of wisdom? So they're saying that you're in a situation right now that you're being called to zoom out. Because again, they keep showing me that someone keeps getting pulled down into a situation that is kind of beneath you at this point. And you need to sort of rise above and look at it from a different perspective. And if you are having difficulty doing that, again, perhaps call on somebody wise. That's literally what the card is saying here. With this key here, they're even showing me that whatever you feel stuck in right now, or you feel locked in right now, you yourself have the key to get yourself out. And part of that key is in this remembrance. And as I say that, my cat literally is asking to go out as though she's like trapped inside, but I'm the one who has the key, right? So let me go let her out. I'll be right back. Okay, sometimes when I just do mundane tasks, I get flashes of information. So as I was opening the balcony door, what did I hear? Now I don't remember. Oh, reclaiming your sovereignty. So I don't know if some of you have been dealing with not just like difficult situations, but negative energies or entities or dark energies or something like this. This can show up in having obsessive or repetitive thoughts, or being stuck in old patterns and not being able to get out, being sort of overly anxious for consistent periods of time. Negative energy can be an aspect of that. So it's not always, something outside of you. It can actually show up in the way that you think. It often shows up predominantly in the mind and in repetitive actions that don't serve you. And a helpful way to move out of that is to keep reclaiming your sovereignty. I am sovereign and I am free. It's this feeling of strength and fortitude that you're being called to now. And the action step is to proclaim your sovereignty. You reclaim it and then proclaim it with strength, okay? With a strong backbone is what they're showing me here, okay? Some of you are being called back to learning, okay? Some of you are being called to be students again and to learn from someone wise, and just trust your intuition with that. Some of you are being called to teach. That's a smaller percentage, but some of you are being called to teach, to share your wisdom, to share your knowledge. Some of you are being called to explore avenues that were interesting to you at one point, but you never really dove in. It might have seemed like an endeavor you didn't want to fully take on. I don't know if you're like exploring Atlantis or looking into esoteric books. Yeah, it just feels as though you might be being called back to some avenue of learning that you might have abandoned at some point. They're showing me, with the books here, they're showing me a book that you made it a quarter of the way through, and it's sort of collecting dust on your bookshelf. And that book might start calling you back, okay? I have a lot of books that I am halfway through, and some of them recently have really been calling me back. So there's one in particular, but I can't remember the name of it now. Anyway, so let's get into the tarot and see what else we can get for you guys. What is calling my group number 3s now, my highest and best spirit guides? What is calling my group number 3s? What is calling my group number 3s? I'm also hearing the word forgiveness. That showed up a little bit in group number 1. So maybe forgiveness will be presented to you, the opportunity to forgive. Okay, so we have the Tower. That's interesting. That actually comes, right after the Devil. And I was seeing this negative energy and these negative habits. So the fact that the Tower came up really tells me that you guys are moving out of that negative energy, and what isn't serving you is crashing down now. And it looks as if what is calling you now is to allow that release to happen. It feels as though something wants to leave your life, something wants to shift, a pattern, an energy, a person, an experience, a way of living that doesn't serve you anymore. Okay? The Tower. So again, this requires some amount of wisdom from you. And I'm also hearing foresight, because it does seem as though this is happening now or is about to happen. And your job is to lean into it. Lean into the letting go. Let yourself be released from a place that kept you captive in some way. Even a thought pattern can keep you captive. So you're being called to really allow for this release to occur, whatever that may be. Let me know in the comments what you think that is for you. And what else do you want to say? Can you tell me a little bit more about the Tower, actually? Can you tell me a little bit more about the Tower for my group number 3s in terms of releasing something here, letting the release happen? Show me the card clearly, please. Thank you. Sorry, I look like Michael Jackson today with my Band-Aids. Okay. Ooh, and then we have the Chariot. Okay, that makes perfect sense. So you're genuinely being asked to move on from something that isn't serving you. Sounds like a very simple idea. It's repeated sometimes in general readings, but this is being highlighted for you guys. And it even showed up before we even drew cards. I'm hearing that something is being extracted from your life. So part of this is not just about your doing or your will or your strength or fortitude. It's that combined with, let's call it the universe at large, helping to extract from something from your life that doesn't need to be there anymore, that doesn't belong there anymore. Oh, they're showing me something very beautiful. So they're saying that as that energy leaves your life, you're going to be able to uncover that ancient wisdom much more easily. This came up a little bit in group number 2, this idea. But this idea that this energy that has been rife in your life for some time, I would say, muddied your capacity to even have the wherewithal that this ancient knowledge existed. Maybe you were always attracted to Atlantis or ancient Egypt, because they are showing me this high priestess energy, and they're also showing me Athena. Anyway, I don't know, goddess energy. And but you never really pursued it. Maybe you were distracted by things in your life, or things were always sort of nagging at you, or they're just showing me nuisances cropping up in your life that kind of had the intention to keep you off of this course. This 44 is that number has been following me my whole life. 44 and 144. And there's just this sense that you guys are meant to rise. You are meant to rise. Like, that is your birthright. You are meant to rise in this life, and you are meant to reclaim those gifts. And so the Chariot, when I asked for more information on the Tarot, really says that you are about to embark on that new journey, leaving whatever this was behind. Okay, you're calling forth a whole new journey. That's what's calling to you now, a whole new journey. By plane, by car, by boat, whatever it might be. And certainly the chariot could be a literal move, but, of course that'll resonate with somebody here. But you're definitely being called to move forward, okay? And it's interesting that this boat is also kind of in the air. So it's literally movement that allows you to see above what was keeping you stuck, the same energy as the owl here. Okay, they're actually highlighting the energy of the owl as being very prominent for you guys, and the need to, not the need, the capacity to be able to see behind you easily. That you can see in all directions very easily, and to trust yourself and to trust your vision. When you feel or sense or see something that is awry, don't second guess it. This is really calling you to trust yourself now. Okay? What else for my group number 3s? Okay, 7 of Cups. Oh, that also just fell out, so let's take it. There it is, the devil. That's crazy. So I said that I saw the devil. I'm just going to turn that over right here. And I'm reading the energy of the devil, okay? So the devil might have been keeping you in a place of confusion, where you just didn't know where to go or what path to choose. And we have actually 2 7s here. We have double numbers. We have 7, 7, and we have 44. So I even highlighted that the devil came before the tower, and it does feel as though this energy belongs here. So the devil put you in a position that you might have felt confused. So I really feel like our guides came through today to affirm that this is the case, that you're entering a phase of healing and fortitude, star card energy, okay? Really allowing you to, and that's literally, right, the devil, tower, star, right? 17? That's right. Yeah, so you're moving into your phase of the star card yet, but you might still be in the energy of moving out of the tower. So they really wanted to validate that some of you have been dealing with some dark energy. And just like they said, the dark energy was distracting you. And that is literally showing up in the cards now with the 7 of Cups. It might have just distracted you, made you feel confused. Again, they said something about paying attention to nonsense. It's like this person is standing here saying, what do I pay attention to? This weird, I don't know, snake in this cup, this dragon, this person, you know, this wreath. You don't even know where to put your attention. And the devil was creating that for you, or that sort of low vibratory energy was doing that to you. And so what they're saying is that you're starting to move forward from this. And what's calling to you now is the awareness of the extraction of this, coupled with your own strength and fortitude and will. And with the significator card, there's a call to reclaim and proclaim your sovereignty. So now, thank you, my guides, for, and 5 of Cups right here on the bottom of the deck, right? Stop paying attention to what isn't working and start paying attention to what is, right? Facing forward, not back, okay? So my guides, I didn't do this for any other group, but I just want to see the story. What is calling to them once this chapter closes out, as they move forward in this chariot energy? What is calling to them here, okay? Can you give us more insight in terms of the future? What is calling to them? What is calling to them? Is that no? Show me a clear card here, please. What is calling to them? Thank you. There it is. Oh, I love when the reading shows up like this for us. The sun. Okay? The sun is not the opposite of the moon. The sun to me is the opposite of the devil. Real dark and real light. So, and some of you are going to bristle at that and argue with me. That's just my interpretation in this reading. Okay, so please respect that. You are moving into a chapter of your life that's calling you to shine your light. To shine your light without apology. You have some immense ancient wisdom that is calling to you now. And if you're listening to this reading as I post it, many of you are not, but some of you are. We are in Leo season, and the sun does rule Leo. So this might be calling to you right now or imminently. And we do have this baby on a horse. Again, it's very interesting because the baby even demonstrates some kind of rebirth, coming back into an innocent plane. For any of us, and I'm included in this group, who have dealt with really dark energy, it can feel as though it takes our life force. It takes It takes an aspect of our life, and that robbing of that innocent energy. And so I do feel as though you're being called back to your innocence, back to that purity that you might have thought this energy robbed from you, but your guides are here to tell you that that was never the case. And that was never the intent. That was not the plan. The plan wasn't for you to learn some nonsense lessons from the devil energy, so to speak. But, and that's crazy. The high priestess just flicked out of the deck. Did you see that? That's okay. I'll talk about that in a second. Because I think they mentioned, they mentioned the high priestesses of Atlantis. Yes, that's crazy. I don't know if you guys, if I caught that on camera, I'll have to watch that back, but that just flew out of the deck. That's crazy. So they're affirming what we're talking about right now, that this was never the plan for you to be inundated with all of that darkness. Okay. There was something that followed you. Oh, okay. So they're saying that the baby in the sun card is that many of you have experienced this since birth. And it is only at this juncture in your life. And some of you are 44 this year or turning 44. And if you're not, that's cool also. But that this juncture of your life is when things are, where these gifts are going to start to be reclaimed. High priestess. There's magic in this group. I mean, you guys are like magic. I'm not going to lie. You guys are like magic. So the high priestess came out. That was crazy. I really hope that I caught that on camera. That just got flicked off the deck. You're being called back into your light and for you to be seen in your gifts and to not shy away from your gifts anymore. It's interesting that this particular high priestess is in this lotus position, is in this, because wisdom sometimes is cultivated from the silence, not always from books, right? Wisdom is something that is learned from learning, I like to say, or it's a higher, it's the metacognitive state. It's being able to understand your knowledge, why you gain that knowledge, where it came from, understanding from a broader view what you have gleaned in your life, what you've gained in your life. And so in some respect, it's not that the devil and the devilish energy was there to teach you anything. It's how you rose above it that leaves you with some kind of wisdom and extending that to others. Maybe one day I'll tell my story about how I dealt with that energy and how I literally came back into my light. You know, I started this YouTube channel in the full moon in Leo because and I never wanted to be on a platform like this. I fought it tooth and nail. I'm a very, very private person. But it was Leo that called me in my high priestess energy, literally. So, I don't know, this resonates with me as well. Not that that means anything to you guys, but I thought I'd share. Can we get one final card here for my group number 3s? What's calling to them? One more card. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I probably cackled really loud there. And we have Queen, oh my God. We have Queen of Wands. We have the magical queen, the witch under the deck, okay? And we have 10 of Pentacles. So they're basically saying that the polarizing state that you were in, this dark, confused energy, it's leaving now. You're moving ahead. Allow yourself to be seen. You're being called to be seen. You're being called into, you're calling back your life force energy. Everything you thought was robbed from you was not. And I'm not trying to downplay any terror or negative experience you had in your life. But I do want to remind you that there is no time and all we have is this moment right now here. You can reclaim that energy and you can be reborn in a sense if you allow it. And in that rebirth and in that proclamation of your sovereignty, you're calling back all of that ancient knowledge and ancient wisdom, literally the B and the J, the Torah here, okay? And that is going to lead you into just true abundance in the material world in a way that maybe you weren't afforded, no pun intended, earlier in this life and likely in past lives, not since Atlantis, as I see it here. Okay? And that is it. that is your reading, my group number 3. Thank you so much for staying for this reading. It was such a pleasure and an honor reading for you guys. If it resonated, let me know down below. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. If nothing else, I'll see you in the next one. Much love and many blessings.